A little bit of the bubbly.
What's going down? Thor, Basement Banter, Kyle Olson, KnockedOut Entertainment, back doing another Wrestling in the Basement, little wrestling podcast. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, I mean there were only 3 shows in one day, and then a lot of WWE news, a lot of not so much.
Well, I mean honestly, since the last video we did, which was back in Fighter Fest, I want to say.
Yeah, so we missed SummerSlam.
Fight for the Fallen. And we're not even going to touch any of that stuff. NXT 25, which was awesome, by the way. So we missed a lot of stuff.
Yep.
But we're mostly covering just last weekend.
Yeah.
The Wrestle Day World Wrestling Day.
Yep.
Because it was literally, like you said, 3 different events. Yep. Two from England.
Yep. Two from different places in England. One near London. One in Cardiff. Wales.
Okay. Yeah.
They said that a lot.
And then one in Chicago. So you watched both Cardiff and All Out live, correct? But Royal Quest, obviously, I think we're both in the same boat. Yeah. Didn't go up until like 2 days ago on New Japan World.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pay the extra $25 for watching it live when I knew it was only going to be a couple days delay. I wasn't happy that it was a couple days delay, but...
Well, originally they had come out and said they were gonna hold it off a little bit longer, but I think
enough people complained.
I think they did because there wasn't. That's what I said that on social media. I did like a live video that day, and I said I'm only paying for one event tonight, and that's All Out. And we'll definitely. Should we start with All Out and go?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest one because everything else then also had stuff that happens after that we can. Talk about.
It's true.
Whereas All Out's more self-contained.
Well, All Out also has some stuff that happened after. There was a lot of hubbub the last 24 hours. We'll get into that.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
So let's start with All Out. So All Out starts with the buy-in, and let's just talk about the buy-in quickly.
Probably the best buy-in they've done.
They did it in the right order for once.
Well, they did it was the same order as they did for Double or Nothing, but I think. People just it just made more sense this time,
How'd you like the women's battle royal?
Really good. I thought it was pretty good. I was a little partial because I've worked with a couple of the performers in it. So it was like, oh, Priscilla Kelly's there. Oh, Penelope Ford's there. Awesome. Jazz is there. Like literally every section had somebody that I've shot a show with.
Okay. Like each suit pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
performer.
At least 3 of the. The first 3 of the 4. So, actually 4 because the Joker, Mercedes Martinez, also was on a show in
at
April.
First, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, I know them. I'm so glad they're getting an opportunity. And then, it was just really cool.
I thought I was less in on the women's battle royal. Now I will admit I was very distracted during most parts of it.
Yes.
There were parts, because that was like right about 6 o'clock, right?
Okay, yep.
So I was finishing up grilling some steaks. I was doing a few things, but I was in and out pretty consistently. Yeah. And I was underwhelmed at a lot of points. There were some high points, but there were some low points. And one of the things I think for me overall, I don't even know, the women's wrestling over this past weekend is not upper echelon women's wrestling. From my personal opinion, like what we're seeing in some of the WWE matches, what we even have seen from some of these performers, I think, prior to. I'm just talking about just this past weekend's performances. There was one standout for me, but as a whole, and I think the women's battle royal kind of was the antithesis of it. Okay, because there was some sloppy moments, there was some weirdness to it, right?
Okay, yep.
And there was a little bit of a predictability to who the final, I'd say handful were going to be.
Yeah.
But
because the final 4 ended up being Britt Baker, Bea Priestley, Nyla Rose, and Mercedes Martinez, right? Was the 4th. Which, it's like those...
Outside of Martinez, I think the other 3 were pretty much... Everybody was penciling in as one of those 3 is going to win. Yeah. Because they've been pushing those 3 like the most, which does make sense. So do you like the Nyla Rose getting the W there?
I do. It's going to be interesting moving forward, though. And we'll talk about that, like who her opponent will be for the TV later on.
In the singles match.
Match. Yep. But no, it was good. And it also, I like the fact that Nyla's going for the title, but you also keep this, and this was one of the things that we missed on not covering Fight for the Fallen, was Britt Baker getting the concussion in the match, in the tag match with B Priestley. And that's why as soon as B starts making her way down, Britt Baker just makes a V-line right for her, like, I'm going right at her.
Tackles her on the runway. Tackles her, laying into her. No, like I said, there were some good moments. Yep. Definitely some good moments. But then we got Private Party versus
Jack Evans and Angelico.
Yes, and that was the second match, which I like that they put this match on second, because I think this was definitely the better of the two buy-in matches.
Yeah.
Or the buy-in, the better of the two buy-in parts, right?
Yeah, well, and like I think part of it was I wasn't expecting much, because it was a battle royal.
Right.
Well, like starting it out. So I was like, okay, hopefully this is better than the one at Double or Nothing. And to me it was. And then, you had this awesome tag match later or on, like right after. And
that tag match was great. They were all over the place, flippy, It was fast paced. It was a very fast paced, but it went they had a good like 20 minutes or so that they went.
Yeah, it was like 15, 20. Yeah,
they got to go. They got to go a little bit longer than I thought they were going to go, because I thought the Battle Royal was going to eat up more time than it did.
Well, and that's also the other thing with this buy-in, was it was pretty much the majority just wrestling stuff. Like you had the little MJF interview.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a couple little hype packages and wrestling.
Showcasing the performers. That's what they said. Did you like the book part at the Women's Battle Royal where the librarians were laying the books?
Yeah. It was funny.
It fit. It fit. Wasn't my favorite like save ever, but it was apropos for their characters.
Yeah, it worked, and it's like, okay, that was a fun little thing that you could do with the librarians that wasn't too over the top.
Right. But it still showcases that they're there and stuff like that. So then they did continue to shine a light on the people they've shined the light on the whole time, right? Like Allie, the librarians, Britt Baker, obviously Nyla Rose, who wins. Mm-hmm. And then so All Out starts at like 7.
Oh, and one more thing on the Private Party Jack Evans and Angelico match. Like it was just super fast paced, super entertaining. And then we also get our first, like, one of the first real heel turns of Jack Evans and Angelico doing we've got respect for you, and then jumping them from behind.
Oh yeah, because going in there it was kind of face.
Yeah, it was kind of face.
Right, I forgot about that.
And Jack Evans works so much better as a heel.
Okay.
He's just so mouthy.
So you know the performers in All Out way deeper than I know most of the performers in All Out.
Jack Evans I've been watching since like 2003,
so
Ring of Honor.
I'm still trying to like get to know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I know the top end of the card. Mm-hmm. I don't know like the buy-ins as much. Private Party I'm getting,
Private Party is really cool.
The other two dudes, Jack Evans and Angelico, right?
Both were in Lucha Underground, which if you ever look up, Angelico wasn't in the stable, but Jack Evans, it was like Jack Evans, PJ Black, and Johnny Mundo, like the former John Morrison, were a stable, and Taya were a stable called the Worldwide Underground.
Okay.
Jack and PJ Black were mostly just trying to be Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Hey. It was great.
Yeah,
it was so stupid, but worked so well.
Some Lucha Underground, because they put it on Netflix at one point. So I watched some of it. I probably only watched maybe the first, let's say, handful of episodes.
Yeah,
and I didn't hate it. Like it was decent. Obviously, it wasn't like kept me hooked, but it was. I definitely saw a couple of it. All right, so then we move into the main card.
Yeah, main card.
We got first match, which is pretty much everyone kind of called this was going to be the first match, and it was Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and
Marco Stunt.
A boy, and their dinosaur.
Yeah, the Jurassic Express.
Express. That was good.
I wasn't expecting the intro video that they did.
No, I think that was a delight. That's why they had this one start off, because it was going to be a nice crowd pleaser, right?
Yep.
And there's them versus SCU.
Yep.
SCU consisted. It was.
It was the full roster. So Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, the ring general himself.
There you go. Right, there you go. Kazarian and Daniels. Those are the names I was forgetting.
Oh, okay. You remembered Scorpio.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Scorpio Sky. That's easier to remember than
true.
The other two. Like I said, I'm still familiarizing myself. This is probably the third time I've watched the AEW event.
Okay.
So I didn't watch Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
I watched Fyter Fest. I watched Fight for the Fallen.
Okay.
Because they're both free.
Yep.
And then I watched. So it is third one because I watched. Yeah. Then I watched All Out, which I paid for, and I will get to the end of this if I thought it was a good payment, a bad payment, and I might have another gripe about something else totally unrelated. But we'll get there eventually. So this match was good. It was a good opener. I like Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus. I like SCU.
Yes.
I thought having them showcase in the opener was great. You got all the tag team stuff, like Luchasaurus throwing both of them dudes around because they're both littler. Jungle Boy and what's it, Stun?
Yeah, Marco Stunt.
Throwing those dudes around, and then actually himself going that 1 foot jump.
That's so impressive. Like of the big guys. So that's a move that I saw ACH, now Jordan Miles in NXT. I first saw him do. Which like you see his size, and then the next guy I saw do it was actually Punishment Martinez.
Oh yeah, he's a big dude.
Who's like about the same size as Luchasaurus. And it's like, wait, how's that? It's like it was super impressive when ACH did it, but it's like, wait a second.
Right.
These huge guys are doing it now. Okay, that's kind of awesome.
The way some of these big dudes are moving nowadays is quite impressive. Like we're definitely from that day of the big guys not really moving that well.
Yep.
That's gone. Because a lot of these guys, and even like talk about the Viking Raiders, you talk about even different bigger dudes around. Dajkovic, that dude moves like crazy. Keith Lee, you see that?
Keith Lee,
what was it? Was it Spanish Fly off the top?
Yeah. So here's the thing: if you guys haven't watched it was like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago NXT.
2 weeks ago NXT. Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic.
Yeah.
Go out and watch that match.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
Out of control. Out of control. Yeah, that top row Spanish Fly was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like when the Undisputed Era versus Street Profits match is the second best match on the show.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, so that was a great opener. What you like that match, obviously.
I love that match, and I like taking advantage of the fact that Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy are both, quite small men. They did the double best Meltzer ever.
Yeah.
Holding up both of them at the same time, which shows off Kaz's power. And then also, Christopher Daniels, even though he's almost 50 years old, still doing the best moonsault ever. Just perfectly. No,
that was a great. Yeah, there were some sweet moves in that opening match.
Yeah.
There were some sweet tag team and triple team moves.
Yep.
That was a lot of the highlights of that match, and I like how AEW does the post match highlights. Mm-hmm. So little man was down here running around watching it.
Yeah,
and he didn't see the last few matches, but he saw this match, and he wasn't watching the whole match, but he would stop for the highlights. And then he would just go bananas. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was almost going to film him, but it was just too funny. Because he was way into just the replays, though. He loves the replay packages at the end. So Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt pick up the W, right?
No, it's SCU.
That's right.
Best Meltzer,
right. You just said that.
Yeah.
You said that. Why do I think that the other ones picked up the W?
I don't know.
I'm just confused. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
Kindergarten finally started. So that was match 1, and then was match 2.
Match 2 was a super surprise just because it was match 2. Kenny Omega versus Pac.
That's right. I wanted to say it was Janela and them, but that was no. Yeah, they threw Omega Pac out, whatever. They threw that.
Yeah, now I'm so confused on how to pronounce it because everyone was pronouncing it differently.
Yeah. Okay, going Pac.
Yeah,
Pac, like the Pac-12. So yeah, Omega versus Pac. Great match.
Pac
Pac picks up the victory.
Yeah, he's got his new finisher called the Brutalizer. It's like a crucifix with like a neck wrench tied into it, and it's like he hadn't even I don't think he'd even used that in Dragon Gate yet.
Okay.
So like this was actually the debut of it. But you debut a move like that, not even tapping out Kenny Omega, passing out Kenny Omega.
Which helps keep him looking strong, that he didn't tap, that he passed out, right? That's
and kind of the story is that Omega is a little distracted because he was preparing for Mox.
Yep.
And still wants that match and is still a little bitter that he doesn't have that match.
We didn't know Moxley got a staph infection, bad staph infection apparently in his elbow, but he said he should be good for the October 2nd taping.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, he'll be on the TV, and they just announced that it's him it's Moxley versus Omega at Full Gear. In November.
At Full Gear. Okay, I thought they were going to give it away free on like the first TV, the first night of TV.
They know how many people bought tickets to this show and
Full
bought
Gear. That's their next big pay-per-view.
Yep.
Which August, September, October, 3 months. Because that'll be another paid one.
Yeah, and it'll be they'll have 6 weeks of TV to build it up. Which is cool.
So, what are your thoughts on Omega Pac?
It was just real cool. Like I wasn't like it didn't like blow me away, but like it was just what I expected from these two, which is really still a high bar.
It lacked the storytelling that Moxley Omega would have had in it, and obviously that match would have went way later on the card had that been in the card still. It says a lot that they did throw it out second because it's kind of like, you know what, let's get this out of the way, but let's put this here because you kind of hyped up. So what I looked at is All Out had like a ramp up, that into the Janela thing next, and then crescendo kind of there, and then it was tough the next like 2 matches, and then it kind of reset and boom, 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 going up the ladder again for the ender. So should we move on to the Janela Havoc?
Yes, because it's probably the one I have the most amount of thoughts on.
So it was Darby Allin versus Joey Janela versus Jimmy Havoc in a Cracker Barrel clash.
Yeah,
right?
The Cracker Barrel clash.
Yes, Cracker Barrel clash. Which I said during that, now kind of like a Buried Alive match, you should have had to put your 2 opponents incapacitated in Cracker Barrels, and that's how you win. You have to incapacitate them and throw them in Cracker Barrels. You can have that AEW. That's a freebie for me.
I think that might be a little cheesy for AEW.
Definitely not. Throw them in Cracker Barrels. That's like your Buried Alive type match. Perfect. But so Cracker Barrel clash. And this was just a car wreck. Honestly, this was a car wreck. You put 3 of the best hardcore wrestlers today going in the same match, and there were staple guns going back to the cigarette being stapled to Janela at the buy-in at Double or Nothing, correct?
Yeah, like the first thing of the entire match. was just Jimmy Havoc staple gunning himself. Like, what are you gonna do to me?
He needed to fire himself up. Everyone's got a different tactic. I don't judge. That's just one man's way of getting himself hyped, I guess.
Yeah, and then he gets taped to a chair and have thumbtacks thrown in his mouth.
Okay, so there are points I had to make little man either leave the room or like cover his eyes, or there were parts I was just like, God dang it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like AEW that they do they have these bits in there, but for the parent in me, it's rough.
Yeah. But also technically for the quote unquote blood and guts promotion, there was no blood.
No, not until later. Not until later. But
and not like wrestling blood either.
No, they did a good job. They did a good job destroying each other in a very violent manner without being like gruesomely violent. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like where I had to look, because I didn't have to look away. Brian was kind of watching through his eyes because Brian came over.
Okay.
I ended up, and I'll tell the story of we almost missed All Out. Like we almost missed All Out. I'll tell that story at the end. But this is almost my match of the night. This was really close to my match of the night. It was just
so much fun. And like, just going through the craziness. So Jimmy Havoc gets taped to
The chair.
With a chair on the outside.
Thumbtacks in the mouth.
Thumbtacks in the mouth. Which
then taped his mouth.
Then they taped his mouth to keep the thumbtacks in there. He is struggling, flicks off Darby as Darby's going up top to possibly like do a move to Janela, but then Havoc distracts him, so he just jumps on Havoc instead. But one of the little touches, and I loved this. This is why I'm a fan of Jimmy Havoc. So he gets out and then spits at Darby, and you see some thumbtacks come out as he's spitting.
One of my biggest standouts from that was Darby when he did the fall with the barrel.
Yeah, the fall with the barrel.
That was gruesome.
Which I totally, like, I called it because Darby's insane, and I knew that he would do this. And weirdly enough, the last time Darby was in town was in January for WrestlePalooza.
Okay.
And it was him versus the Great Sasuke, who Great Sasuke in Japan has done multiple times a spot where he will put himself in a barrel and then do a splash off the top. So I was like, I know
he's gonna use
Darby
that
has seen this. And we'll do something similar.
It looks so gruesome.
Yeah.
It looks so gruesome.
But then I watched this match back. I forgot right after that, Janela tries to do the moonsault to the outside and just misses completely.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, why?
Right on the boom.
Yeah,
sorry, microphone. Yeah, just right on the floor. That was brutal too, because that was just like, you're like, why? And they're like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, that match was just, that's why I said, and it was tough after that match because the crowd had the crowd was gassed after that opening 3, right? So who came next?
I'm gonna look it up. Was it the other women's match?
I think it was, and I think that's why it struggled there for me because the crowd wasn't super hot for it. So that was Rio, right?
Yep, Rio versus Shida.
Hiroshita, okay, and I'm pretty sure that came after it.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive. And that match, like I said, it wasn't a bad match.
No, it wasn't bad. It was it was in a tough spot.
It was in a very tough spot, and it was an average match. Again, there were some missteps, and I think that's one of the things where you've seen like the Sasha Banks, the Charlottes, the Becky Lynches, the ones Bailey who have been putting it on in WWE can put up a higher caliber of match. Even Asuka's, things of that nature. Alexa Bliss's even, I would put them, a little bit higher just because it reminded me of the women's wrestling from 3 or 4 years ago where they'd be hitting they'd be missing a few spots per match and it would just bring that match, just that notch down. Like that's still a good match, but it just holds it back from being like great matches. And that's what I'm saying, where I'm like, the women's wrestling this weekend wasn't, for me, the most impressive. So where were we right? Was it that match next?
No, that was the next match was actually the tag tournament buy-in match. Which I don't blame you for not remembering.
Oh, that was Best Friends.
Yeah, Best Friends versus Dark Order.
They were in a real they were in a tough spot too. Because was that match next then?
Yep, that match was after the triple threat.
The next 2 matches suffered from the first 3 matches. And yeah, you're right. I forgot that match because it was worth forgetting. I'm sorry, I love the Best Friends.
Yeah, I love the Best Friends. Dark Order just aren't connecting with the crowd.
Nope.
But something that did connect though, Dark Order after the match. So Dark Order pick up the win and get the bye in the tag tournament, which is cool. And hopefully in the 3 weeks or whatever until they get the bye, they'll figure out, what they're really doing with the Dark Order.
Yeah, the Gimp mask thing just wasn't.
Yeah, but like they're taking Chucky out, and lights go out, and Orange Cassidy's in the middle of the ring
with his hands in his pockets.
With his hands in his pockets, as always.
So and then he runs and then jumps over through the ropes or over the ropes
through the ropes. Yeah, he does a heel-o.
Okay, I wasn't like whoa, or I wasn't like hey, but I was like I'm familiar with who Orange Cassidy is, so I was like this is cool. Brian wasn't and didn't like get the whole Orange Cassidy thing, and he's like him running and jumping with his hands in his pocket is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, well, it fits the character from what I know, but I get the visual isn't like, for someone who's fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Because it was nice sitting with him because it's not like a super wrestling fan where he knew, I think I had to call Pac Neville the whole time.
Okay.
And Omega, the guy from New Japan.
Okay.
So he could remember who, so separation. It was fun. It was fun. But he was not loving that spot. I liked it, and I'm sure you loved it.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. And I had
Orange
no problem
Cassidy's
with
one of my favorite wrestlers and people.
Yeah,
so.
I liked it. I liked it. But I was just, from his perspective, knowing nothing of it, I can see where he was like, when I watched it from that side, I was like, I can see how you'd be like, what's, because that ended up being one of the only surprises.
Yeah, that was like one of the
night.
Surprises. Yeah.
But
it got a big reaction. Though.
It did get a big pop. And they were dead for that match. And then they were booing a lot they were booed Dark Order quite a bit.
Yeah,
but they were pretty quiet. And then I already gave my thoughts on the Riho match.
Yeah, it's like it was good. Like both matches were just fine and kind of gets over a little bit of the characters, but like still clearly they weren't. The crowd wasn't as invested.
No.
But like they're brand new, who like other than the best friends who the crowd knows pretty well. It's pretty new characters, so the crowd doesn't really know too much about them yet.
And again, then the match after that too also don't have the story behind them. You don't have some of the build that 6 weeks of TV will give you. I will probably buy Full Gear because I'll at least watch some of the 6 weeks. I don't know how much. Yeah. It really depends on what's on demand the day after. Because live is just going to be really hard for me, especially with NXT. We'll talk about that. Yeah. So then then we kind of reset after the Riho match. We reset, which she won. So it'll be her versus.
Yeah, it'll be her versus Nyla Rose. So you have probably the first women's one of the smallest women on the entire roster. Taking on one of the largest women on the roster. Right. I don't know where you go. Yeah. I'd actually be fine with either. Yeah. Cause I think in both cases for both champions, I think they're going to both have a pretty long run just to establish these titles. And I think in Nyla Rose or in Rio, you would have a champion that could, do a good 3-month title reign and kind of be like, all right, look, here's what we got.
With wins and losses mattering the way that they say they're supposed to matter in AEW, and they have a 1-0, 0-1 when people are coming down. Did you notice that?
It wasn't on like every match, but like
they did them on most matches.
Okay, like where was it, like in the corner?
Yeah, it was in like, so where their name would be. Yeah. Then like to the side, it would be like 1-0 or 0-1. Okay. Right. So maybe if someone didn't have a record, if it was 0-0, maybe they didn't have it on there. But I know, like for Omega's, for example, it was 0-1. Okay. Right, because he lost to.
Well, he'd be 1-1
or 1-1. Sorry, maybe it was 1-1.
Yeah, because he beat Shima, and then he lost to Jericho. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. 1-1. So then the next match was. Was that Cody?
That was Cody versus Shawn Spears.
Yeah. Yep.
So we got Shawn Spears doing a pretty subdued entrance, but kind of cool.
Weird. It was a weird entrance. Yeah. I thought it was weird at least because he came out with like a hood on. Yeah. And I was like, I thought it was like another surprise for a second. I didn't realize it was him. And then Tully Blanchard came out.
Yeah, Tully came out.
I like that they had the packages beforehand to kind of explain to the people some of the build that's been online and stuff like that. So it was for Brian, for example, who hadn't watched any of it. If he could give him a little preview of like why this match is. They showed the chair shot. Yep. They showed, Tully and Shawn talking, and like they just showed that those packages prior to the most important matches were nice for newer viewers, or even for me who I haven't watched all like the Being the Elites, all the the lead up videos for All In or All Out and stuff like that. So this match was high on my list of match for the night. Match of the night. I think this might even have taken it because they just told a good story. You know, they told a good story. Having Art Anderson come out and throw down the spine buster was dope. That was a great spot. Yeah. And then just like classic heel tactics, classic kind of. The one thing I felt bad for in that whole match was the dog, Pharaoh, having to come out, who was scared as crap from the pyro and didn't want to come out. Even when he saw Cody, he was like, yo, no, dude, I'm not with this.
Yep.
So for that, I was like, but whatever. The match itself was really good. What did you like or dislike about it?
Match itself was really cool. Yeah, like you said, the heel tactics. I love the Sean Spears whipping Cody with the weight belt. And then the referee taking it away, and then Tully Blanchard just handing him his actual belt.
Yeah, like a black regular belt. Yeah, that was that's and
like behind the referee's back, and it's like you don't get that often, and like the fact that like we haven't seen it for so long, I think is actually kind of a good thing because now, you know, what's old is new again. Like you'd see that in the 80s and early 90s, but then it became too cliche. So right. Yeah, so like people stopped doing it, and now people haven't been doing it for so long that it becomes, you know, cool.
Well, you almost have to find like new ways to kind of like work in things. You know what I mean? Or like use a blend of certain tactics with other tactics because you want to keep it fresh, but you also want to like pay homage to that.
Yep.
You know, they do things nice. I do like the way they do things. The setup for All Out was legit. The two tunnels. Cody coming out with the Star Trek gear.
Yep.
And what was Brandy 7 to 9?
Yeah, Brandy was 7 to 9.
Yeah.
Do you think DDP was supposed to be Picard?
Oh, that's right. DDP was they all just had Star Trek-esque uniforms on because they don't want no copyright infringement, but that was close.
Yeah, and then MJF actually being the person at Cody's side, which led to some interesting things.
Well, everybody thought he was going to turn on Cody and join Shawn and like super heel it. Super heel it together. I'm glad they didn't do that because it was too predictable, and they could do it in the future.
Yeah, they could do it in the future,
but I'm glad they didn't do it that night. Yeah. Although I do feel that All Out may have been a little light on surprise moments or like big moments, but they did have. You got any other thoughts on Sean Spears and Cody?
No, I was just surprised Cody won. Actually,
I wasn't.
I thought Sean Spears was gonna win. Like actually, like me, my roommate, and my buddy Dustin all did predictions. All three of us picked Spears.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I would have been Cody all the way. He hasn't lost yet.
Yeah, he hasn't lost singles matches yet.
He beat Darby,
draw with Darby.
That's right. Yeah, he hasn't.
He beat Dustin, draw with Darby,
and then beat Shawn.
So we'll get to it later. But do you see Cody as maybe one of the first challengers?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. Because they are. We'll get there. We'll get there.
So
let's talk about what probably is most people's match of the night. The Young Bucks, Lucha Bros ladder match for the AAA AAA titles.
Yep, AAA tag team titles.
This match
Escalera de la Muerta.
Now, granted, this is like the 9th time they've fought in 6 months. So people who complain about that was my certain only matchups in WWE and certain things we see over and over again. You gotta kind of, this was their best match I've seen from them, right?
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. But I do hope they'll be moving past this rivalry.
Yes.
This is over.
Here, I'm actually gonna look this up. So
Lucha Bros this match, you have to watch it. If you've not seen this match, I can't even go through all the spots.
Yeah.
There was just so many just wicked ladder spots and there was everything you wanted in this match. There was just great storytelling. There was great action. This is not a bad thing to say about the Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks for the 12th time in 9 months.
So in the last, when was the first time they wrestled each other here? In the
they wrestled it all out, right?
Since March,
okay.
The Young Bucks have had 8 matches. 6 of those matches have been against the Lucha Bros.
Okay, so this was including last week's. or not including?
Yeah, that's including last
week. So 6
week.
times in the last.
So they've either met in
6 months
in 6-man tags twice, tag matches then 4 times. And then they wrestled Private Party and the Rhodes Brothers.
Oh, right.
That's it.
There you go. So it's time to move on from this feud, but what a crescendo to the feud.
Yeah.
It was, like we said, it was for the AAA tag titles. And the Lucha Bros retained, which was the right.
Lucha Bros retained.
Pentagon Jr. and
Phoenix.
That was the right decision. I like that the Young Bucks have been, because they lost it all out too, didn't they? Or they won it all out. Not all out, at Double or Nothing. I think they lost.
I have it right here.
I think they lost at Double or Nothing. And then also
they lost at no, they won at Double or Nothing.
Okay, they won at Double
lost
or Nothing.
at
Lost it all out.
Lost when they went back.
Okay.
And then lost it.
Okay.
Because they've traded the tag titles.
Do you
back
think
and
they'll
forth.
be the first AEW tag champions?
I'm not sure. It's gonna depend on how the brackets kind of lay out.
True.
Because I wonder, because after the match we also had a big surprise in Santana and Ortiz,
right.
Popping up in president masks.
President masks, right?
Yep.
They were in I think it was a John F. Kennedy and a Bill Clinton mask, which are good choices for president masks. I wanted Nixon maybe. Nah, Kennedy's good. Kennedy and Clinton.
Yeah,
but they showed up. I wasn't familiar with who they were.
They're really good.
Impact,
okay, and other various indies. They're pretty much the only thing I watched on Impact for a little while. Because the former LAX obviously is trademarked.
And I've heard that name.
Yeah, so they're technically the second incarnation of LAX, which actually led to a fun feud last year. Because basically the LAX of Santana and Ortiz ended up taking on the original LAX Homicide and Hernandez.
Okay.
In an awesome street fight. That was a lot of fun. Really brutal. They were in town in January as well.
Okay.
Really cool. I got to see them versus the Rascals, who are another Impact team. Really, the AEW fans are going to like these guys.
See, and that's what I think, the surprises they had, that team, Cassidy, they are surprises that are pop you a lot more than they're going to pop me, right? Just from the two, because we kind of come of two sides of the wrestling coin, right? You're way deeper in the rabbit hole than I am.
Yes.
I'm in the upper levels. I can still peek my head out at times. But you're deep in.
I'm deep in.
Super deep, all the way. So they showed up and they beat up pretty much everybody, right?
They beat up everybody, which is great because then
they'll be in the tournament, you think?
I think they'll be in the tournament.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we get them versus the Bucks as the finals.
Yeah.
And then have them win it, maybe.
Okay. Are the Lucha Bros in the tournament too?
Lucha Bros have not. Technically, the only matches that have been announced for the tournament thus far is the Dark Order have a bye.
Okay.
And then Private Party versus the Young Bucks is the only first round match that has been announced thus far.
Okay.
But they're going to announce, because they've said the semifinals are either week 4 or 5, and then the finals is week 5 or 6. I can't remember.
So it'll be wrapped up then. Before.
Yeah, it's going to be real quick.
And is that for the tag champs? Does the winner of that tournament become the first
the winner
tag
becomes
champs?
the first tag champs.
Okay,
Yep.
Okay. So that match. Anything more that you need to say on that match?
No, it was just crazy. The Bucks did a little press conference afterwards and said that even though Matt's wife obviously was there, Nick's wife and his parents were in California with their kids, and Matt's wife came up to him and was like, "You need to call your mom right now because she
was not happy
with you right now and wants to make sure you're okay."
Oh yeah, they took some bumps.
They took some crazy stuff.
They took some bumps.
Yeah, especially Nick with that crazy thing, like the ladder getting dumped to the outside.
Yeah.
Which he basically said, "I'm never doing that again."
Through the tables,
through the tables, but he only went through one of them.
Yeah, he shorted it. So it was crazy. So then
that crazy Canadian destroyer off the ladder.
Oh yeah. There were so many spots. Yeah, that's one of the matches you just go watch that match.
Yeah,
there's a handful.
It was nuts.
There's a handful from this weekend, and that was definitely in my top 3 matches from the weekend. Was the Lucha Bros and Young Bucks. Then we had for the belt. I was tired. I fell asleep 3 times during this match. I'm gonna be honest right now.
It was a little bit of a long match. It was good, but it was a little long.
It was too long. Hangman Page versus Jericho. Hangman Page comes out riding a horse.
I was gonna say, like we better mention that he came out.
Of course, the horse took a dump. No, I don't know, maybe. And then Jericho came out, just being Jericho-y. This match had some color. Jericho bled profusely. They beat each other up a lot. It was pretty back and forth. Like it was brutal. There were some good spots. They were in the crowd a couple times.
Just brawling around.
I fell asleep 3 times during this. I was on the floor like trying to stay awake. I'm like, I
can do this.
Well, because I watched all of Cardiff, then dinner, in-laws got here right at the beginning of all out. Then this was like 10. I'm like, it'll be over at 10, babe. I gotta stop saying that.
And it was 11.
Right? And then exactly.
Yeah.
And I told Brian's like, what time is it going to be over? I gotta be at work at like 5:36 in the morning. I'm like, about 10 o'clock. 10:30. He's like, dude, I should have left before this match started. And I was like, probably.
Yeah.
Right outcome. For me, a very predictable outcome. You have Jericho win it. And why? And Brian's like, well, how do you know they're going to have him do that? I was like, because if you have Hangman Page win it, not one place is going to have a story about you. Like they're not going to get the press. They're not going to get ESPN. They're just not. Okay.
Yeah.
Hangman Page isn't a known commodity.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho is a Hall of Famer. He is an icon unto himself. You get the press, you get his videos. The pop little bubbly?
A little bit of bubbly.
A little bit of bubbly. The memes now. Oh. What happened afterwards we'll get to with him. But that's why you have him win it, right?
Yeah.
It's not because, and the funniest thing is I did see some people come out and be like, if WWE would have had their first title go to a 49-year-old, part-timer, not really part-timer, but a 49-year-old veteran over a young guy, everyone would be crying, but AEW does it and everyone's like, yay, cheer. And I can't disagree with that point to a certain extent. But from being a young company and knowing that you need the coverage, you need places to talk about you and run you on their front page and send out tweets. Yep. You need that social media presence, right?
Yeah. Well, and
Jericho gives them that.
And also like leading into TV, who better than Chris Jericho to have, because he can, he's going to be wrestling in a 6-man for the episode 1. And I believe episode 3, they've announced he's going to defend the title.
Yeah.
But
like
he doesn't need to wrestle every week.
Nope.
He can wrestle every other week and cut promos in between, and people won't complain.
And the way they do it with like some of the videos that he shoots on his phone and stuff like that, or shoots from like tour buses with Fozzy, things of that nature, that works for them.
Yeah.
And like you said, they don't need him every week, so they can build other people. Because here's the thing that I think that I was actually, the one of the things I found myself most surprised about is, besides Jericho and Cody Rhodes, Bucks and Omega don't have the name recognition that I think I thought they had.
Okay.
The mass knowledge is what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Not you, not even me, but I'm talking about someone who maybe watches, let's say, 2 pay-per-views a year. They watch SummerSlam and they watch WrestleMania.
Okay.
A lot of my super cash friends, right?
Okay.
the Bucks and Omega don't have the name recognition and the cachet that I thought they had built, and that they had built from me.
Yeah.
Because I had heard rumblings from watching Cultaholic, from watching different, wrestling stuff on YouTube, wrestling podcasts. That's how I got into New Japan, right? And then kind of when we met, you put me on like a lot more of the indie stuff and got me a lot more invested in a lot of the not side things, but the things that I wasn't really super focused on in the beginning, right? But that's even I'm finding myself that the level even below me or above me, I guess, is almost unaware of who any of these people are outside of Moxley, if you call him Ambrose, Pac, if you call him Neville, and Jericho. And I was like, and Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. And I was surprised, even Ty Dillinger to a certain extent, but they had to have some sort of tie to like the WWE or to the mainstream, right? That's one of the things that had kind of surprised me in AEW's infancy is that their top end of the card doesn't have the name recognition outside of some circles that I thought it did.
Yeah,
but they put on their matches are great, good to great, and I'd say 90% of the time, right? And their product looks good. Their commentary needs work. I'm just gonna it was awesome a couple times I watched it. This All Out was painful at points. JR had an off night. JR had that
was one of the things I was like, I can't comment too much on the commentary.
I will,
because I had two incredibly loud and quite intoxicated friends over who would not shut up the entire time, so I couldn't hear the commentary.
I had a screaming 5-year-old body slamming a stormtrooper the whole time, so it was. I mean, I heard every minute, obviously. Never was distracted, not a second. But no, the commentary was not on par as the last two times. And it was just kind of seemed all across the board. It was almost seemed like the other two would be quiet to let JR go off on a tangent, and they needed to kind of step in and stop him. Because he made himself sound, I don't know. And there were a couple times he almost made some references to almost the WWE stuff. With some people, and there were just moments. It wasn't the cleanest, but the production value and the set and all the other stuff, top notch, right? And the work rate, top notch. I think they just need to establish more storylines. I am very curious now to see the weekly numbers for All Out versus NXT, and we'll move on to this in a second. But I'm very curious to see that because, just traveling in the circles we travel in, it's a hot topic. Outside of that, I don't know that it's on the radar.
Well, like even my roommate, it was like, well, I know which one I'm watching because he doesn't watch NXT like weekly. So he's like, well, why would I start now?
Right.
And I was like, they'll probably up it a little bit and it might be a little better. And it's like, but like, I'll still watch the takeovers because the takeovers are great. And I'm like, right. But it's like, I'm going to watch AEW, especially since he does like Pathfinder every like Wednesday night.
See, and I'm curious, I don't know how NXT is going to be on the network anymore. So I know it won't be live. I don't think, it'll just be live on TV. So but I don't know if on like the next day it'll be on the network. Cause I don't know. I
haven't found that out yet.
It's going to be, for me, it's how accessible is the content going to be to me after the fact. Cause neither one is, I don't even watch Raw and SmackDown. I'm down to like pay-per-views and pay-per-views. I'm pretty much down to pay-per-views. I watch the recaps and gradeds on Cultaholic. And I'm like, all right, that happened. And then I watch a lot of New Japan. I'm almost done with G1. No, I'm not. I'm on like August 4th. And I'm halfway through Royal Quest. Halfway. I just finished the Naito Jay White match. Which let's closing thoughts on All Out before I do mine.
Really, kind of in the same boat. I'm now more interested to see where this company goes forward. And like I'm intrigued on a couple of things they set up because they basically set up the in a after her little 10-minute post show they did on YouTube. They kind of set up the Hangman Page and Pac match.
Yeah, the match that never happened, that will happen, but did happen over in England, right?
Yeah, it happened in England. Yeah, as a surprise.
So yeah, they'll do that, and they'll definitely do that.
Yep,
they'll definitely do that.
But yeah, I just want to see like where this is going moving forward. Like I thought it was an enjoyable show, and hopefully TV moving forward is just as high of quality.
I will be there for week 1. I'm gonna promise I'm gonna watch week 1 live.
Okay,
I got to, right? I'm going to do it. I'm gonna find some way to do it. Mm-hmm. After that, crapshoot. But I will say $53.55 on Amazon took me 2 tries.
Okay.
First time it failed for some reason because my credit card, something was wrong. Yeah. So I had to call Amazon because it said it went through, but then Bleacher Report said it didn't go through.
Okay.
So then it never actually would let me watch it. So then I had to get refunded from Amazon, and then I rebought it on my Fire Stick, and the second time it worked. That's why I said we almost didn't see it. Because I was on the phone with Amazon and Bleacher Report Live. I'm on the phone with their customer service 30 minutes before the show was supposed to start. Literally not in a good mood. Yeah. And
we watched it because Bleacher Report, VR Live, not the easy, like it's not on every platform. System, so like we also ended up using my roommate's Fire Stick. And yeah, it was like, because he hadn't used it for a little while, he's like, oh crap. Like the last time he signed in even was Fight for the Fallen, which was, July. Yep. So he had to sign in to Bleacher Report and then, sign into his Amazon and again, and which he couldn't remember the PIN number.
Right. And then you gotta make sure that your card on file is the right card. Yeah. It's a whole thing. Yeah. So like I went through it heavy, got it, but afterwards I was like, if they did one of these monthly, there's no way I'm watching, like, cause it was not that much better than a top end WWE or New Japan show. Okay, like a high end. If let's say like a SummerSlam. Yeah. Let's say like Takeover 25. I would put not 25, but like Takeover New Orleans from a couple years ago, where they had that crazy North American ladder match in the beginning, Gargano Ciampa at the end, the higher end shows, right? Which this is supposed to have been. It had standout matches aplenty, but overall as a full show, if they did one every month, I wouldn't buy it. Right. Yeah. And like I've said before, it's not you guys not you they need to get to buy. It's me. And not even the people who watch less than I do, but the people who watch as much as I do. Yeah. To get me to invest. The TV will help with that. Yep. And if they can hook me on week 1 and make me have to come back for week 2, week 3, week 4, leading into Full Gear, then I will buy one if it's once every 3 months, once every 4 months buy-in. Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of, from what I've heard, that's about the strategy.
If it is, that'll work. If they go to more than that, that's where they struggle with not having a back catalog to have a streaming service. Yes, like New Japan does. Because what do they have? Road to Destruction was on live this morning. Literally, I got it this morning to watch Royal Quest. And I was like, oh, Road to Destruction live. I was like, well, should I watch that?
It's a Road to show, don't.
Yeah, no, I know. I was like, there's nothing in it. So. But I watched Royal Quest for like an hour and a half. Yeah. And that was we can move on to Royal Quest. That was a good show. A lot of people thought it was going to be more of a house show. I don't think it was that. I think it was somewhere in between.
It was kind of in between. Like you had it was just one of their like B-level like pay-per-view kind of shows. Like actually probably Destruction is going to be like,
what was your match of the night for Royal Quest?
I mean, you haven't gotten to it yet, but match of the night was probably Okada versus Suzuki.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
The mostly like Okada and Suzuki, and also even though I know I've been critical of it in the past, but Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tanahashi with a British crowd, it was great.
I've heard that because that was the second to the last match, right? And then
so like the last 2 matches were really good. I really enjoyed the Birds of Prey.
Osprey and
Robbie Eagles
versus Ishimori and
El Phantasmo.
El Phantasmo. I saw that match. That was an excellent match.
It was just so much fun. New Japan really needs to.
They did a double team Spanish fly off the top rope to El Phantasmo Eagles, and God, they put up the name of it online the next day. I can't remember what he called it.
Oh, they actually named it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Osprey put it out. He put out the name. But there's a name for the double Spanish fly off the top rope that they gave to Phantasmo.
Which, like,
no, that was the Ishimori. It was Ishimori.
Which everybody's got to also remember, that was the original Spanish fly.
Yeah.
Like, the original was a 2-man Spanish fly. And it's now become so common. Actually, weirdly enough, thanks to Kaz, was one of the first guy who started doing the 1-man Spanish fly, and then everybody else is like, "Oh, cool! I can do that." And so everybody does the 1-man. That now the 2-man Spanish fly is kind of like, "Oh wow, that was a rare treat." Cool.
Right. It's more like you said. You don't notice them for a while, then the old becomes new again. Sonata's going to get a shot at Okada. When do you think they're going to do that? You think they'll do that?
I think they announced they're doing it in Destruction.
That's at Destruction?
Yeah, I think it's going to be at Destruction, yeah.
And then, so what's up with Moxley and the U.S. title since he still holds it but has the infection? Do they strip him after 30 days?
No.
New Japan doesn't do that. They'll just let it ride out?
Whenever he can come back, he's going to come back and drop it to Juice.
Does Jay White take Naito's Intercontinental Champion?
I hope not.
Looks like it.
I know, but I just hope not.
Destino. Naito's my favorite. Naito has become my favorite New Japan wrestler.
Yeah. Actually, there was a...
And that's not even like a bold statement, but like, I don't know. He's just become my favorite.
Yeah. Speaking of Sonata, this is a little side thing. So Rev Pro has this faction called... It's like Schadenfreude or something.
Okay.
It's basically all the heels, and they're like, we have a new member, and they've got the big flag in the back, and it's Chris Brooks and Aussie Open.
Okay.
Who were on the show.
Up against God.
Yep. So
ain't nobody really.
The flag drops, and Sonata is standing there, just standing there, and they're like, get out of the way. And the actual new member was Kevin Kelly.
Oh,
who's like
the announcer,
sitting there in a leather jacket trying to look all tough. And it's like,
that's not Kevin Kelly's strong suit.
No,
looking
it's
tough
not.
in leather jackets.
But like, I love the fact that just because he was in the UK, like they did that little thing with Sonata because he was up for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like Sonata. He's quickly becoming one of my top guys. I'm a big Los Ingobernables de Japón. I'm
like
really
everybody,
I've learned how to say it.
Yeah.
That's how big of a fan I've become. I learned how to actually pronounce it.
Yeah, that's also one of the other things. Like,
I don't lay there watching it, practicing how to pronounce it or anything. I don't.
Like all the factions in New Japan are all kind of a little bloated.
Oh yeah.
If you think about it, like Chaos has like 15 people, Suzuki Gun has like 10.
Bullet Club
has too many.
They got Kenta now.
Yeah, they got Kenta now, which is cool.
The never openweight champion.
Yeah.
How about that match? I didn't see that match, but I've heard it was kind of sad because Kenta gets what everyone assumes is a concussion, and he was kind of out of it.
Oh, he's totally out of it.
Okay. It hurts the quality of the match, right?
Not too bad. Like,
really?
No.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's like
it's noticeable.
It's noticeable, especially it was noticeable in like the post-match celebration where you can tell he's just
out on his feet.
Yeah. But no, what hurt that match was basically shortly before, and part of the timing, it was the timing wise. I think where he ended up getting the concussion was right before they started doing a bunch of interference spots.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like, okay, he's kind of out of it. And, here's our Bullet Club shenanigans. All right. So, yeah, people who don't like that were all like, well, and he clearly didn't remember that there were supposed to be Bullet Club shenanigans because he got concussed. But, you know, it is what it is.
And that was the match before...
that was
Tanahashi and Sabre Jr.
It was the last three.
And then we ended with Okada and Minoru Suzuki. Yep. I want to watch them. I want to watch those last two matches for sure. Those, I might just fast forward to that. Well, is the God match worth watching?
I like Aussie Open, so yeah.
Okay.
Ain't
nobody realer than Gorilla, so
yeah. And if you haven't seen like Aussie Open before,
no, I'm not.
They're a fun tag team.
All right, I'll watch. I'll probably watch that match and then the last two.
Yeah.
So that's really all we need to talk about Royal Quest.
Yeah, that was about it. So we're back to the beginning of the day because that was the first match of the day. Yeah, that was on a little earlier than NXT Takeover Cardiff.
I think it started noon our time.
Yeah, it started at noon.
Cardiff started 1.
Cardiff, yep,
started an hour later.
Yep.
Cardiff was a better show for my money, for my dollar so far. From what I've heard, Cardiff didn't have. Well, Cardiff had one man match, but other than that, I think Cardiff overperformed.
Yeah, I can see that.
They had. If it wasn't for Lucha Bros and Young Bucks, they would have had my favorite tag team match of the night. And they and that triple threat almost beat out Lucha Bros and Bucks, but it was just too crazy. And the stage they were on, they have to take it. But man, big shout out to the Welsh boys, Mark Andrews
and Flash
Morgan, who liked my tweet. By the way, shout out. Oh, nice. I was super happy about that because I was like, this triple threat tag team match though. It's literally all I said. Yeah. And so that they won versus who were they versus? One of the Kofis.
It was Mark Coffey and Wolfgang,
right.
Gallus.
Yes. And then
the grizzled young veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake.
Yep.
Who I like because I haven't been watching. I haven't been watching Progress as much lately.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say NXT UK because I don't even watch that weekly shows for that. I literally only watch the takeovers for UK NXT.
Well, like
I'll be the first.
Yeah, like the thing with NXT UK, especially with the grizzled young vets, kind of like I said with Jericho, like Zach Gibson is such a good promo that at the tapings, which they'll tape like 4 shows in a row. You'll have maybe like one grizzled young vets match, and then all the other weeks it's a Zach Gibson promo.
It's just promos.
Yeah, which he's a fantastic promo, so like go for it. But yeah, the fact that you don't get much like ring time for the vets, and I forgot how good they are.
Yeah.
And that was like one of my roommates was complaining that he kind of just wished that it was a
single.
It was a singles match. It was a single tag match between the.
I keep forgetting Andrews. Wolfgang and Mark Coffey were part of it.
They still delivered for like what they needed to do. Like they were the big team, the big looming threat. But I think for the style of matches I like more. I would have just loved to see the grizzled young vets against they're calling themselves the South Wales subculture.
Okay. The boys from Wales, the first ever Welsh champions in the WWE.
Yeah, which is pumping that. Yeah, like so weird that like they are.
Yeah,
like
that is weird.
Yeah,
that is weird. Well, that just shows, you know what I mean? The WWE doesn't.
But yeah, and then I think like there's
European
not
people.
Well, there haven't been that many English and European champions at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you've got Regal, Balor,
British
Bulldogs. Like that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Jack Gallagher, but he was cruiserweight.
Yeah, he was cruiserweight champion. Yeah. Like,
but
that's it in like their entire history, which is real weird.
Yeah. Well, eventually Dunn and Bates.
Yeah, Dunn and Bates, yeah.
You know Bates coming over. He's either coming main roster or NXT proper.
Yeah, well,
after we'll get to that. Well, actually, we could probably just jump straight there because honestly, those were the two matches of this pay-per-view for me were that tag. Well, no. The other Kofi, Joe Coffey and Mastiff. The last man standing match that they had, that was a pretty good match.
I didn't love it, but I also really don't like Joe Coffey.
The end where he kicked out the he was trying to stand up on like a
and then he kicked off.
He kicked it out. That was a great it
was good.
A sneaky heel tactic that just worked perfectly.
So here's the problem. Okay. I don't like Joe Coffey that much. And I really don't like last man standing matches.
Okay.
So it was real behind the 8 ball for me.
I get it. I get it. different strokes. No, that match hit for me though. And then the Dragunov Cesaro match was awesome. That match was awesome. That match had just letting Cesaro go over there and then Dragunov be his opponent and not have it be like Cassius Ohno or something underwhelming. Because Dragunov performed his butt off. Yeah. And Cesaro just looked like Cesaro.
Yeah. Like Dragunov to me, he's always a little too cartoony for me. Like he's a little over animated a lot of times for me. So he's very hit and miss. But like when he hits, going back to Progress, there's a match with him versus David Starr.
Okay.
That's really good. And then that's like, but then a lot of his other ones, I'm like, okay. Like he had a match with Pete Dunne that I didn't love. But it's like, sometimes when he delivers big. But then some other times I'm just a little underwhelmed because like you're too much.
Well, he's a little bit newer, right? I mean, not newer to wrestling.
Yeah, he's been in NXT UK for like 6 months, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So there's still like that character development and that polish that like a Dunn or a Bates or that top end of the UK card. Even a Walter, love that dude. So then what came after then Tony Storm and
Tony
Kylie
Storm
Ray?
and Kaylee Ray.
Kaylee Ray. That match was supposed to have a lot of like emotion and they were trying to tell a story, but I wasn't invested in the story.
Yeah, that was
my
too.
like. Kind of like the Noam Dar Mark Andrews match in the beginning, which it was a fine match. Travis Banks. Sorry, Travis Banks. Mark Andrews was the tag.
Yeah. Yep.
Travis Banks. See, that one also was like, man. So
like that was
matches.
Like that match delivered more than I thought it would. And like I'm a big Travis Banks fan, so like it delivered more than I thought it would. I was kind of surprised in a good way on the outcome, like having Dar win.
But I like Noam Dar from like his cruiserweight days. With Alicia Fox.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. Like Noam Dar, you can just like he's a great utility player. Of like, we're just gonna throw him in this, and he made it work. Okay, cool.
Yep.
But back to the women's match.
Tony Storm and Kaylee Ray.
Yep.
Kylie Ray, whatever.
Yep. It was pretty good. Like, like you said, I wasn't as invested, and like that's clearly like what they were trying for. I was more invested on what's potentially coming out of it, with Kaylee Ray as kind of the more heel champion to see kind of who takes her down.
Well, I think it'll be her and Tony. I think that story's not over yet.
Yeah, that story's
they kept saying
not over.
Tony was in her head, and then she's going to get right, and she's going to come back fierce, and who knows? I'm more interested, honestly, when Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley showed up on NXT to go at Big Baszler.
Yeah.
Shayna.
Which, like,
I was like, yes, let's do this.
My only problem with that is I think they kind of possibly burned a real money match in. So now Rhea's more of babyface because she's taken on Baszler.
Yep.
But if you remember back like a year ago, Rhea was the one who, even though she was just in the match and didn't actually injure, she's the one who injured Tegan Knox.
Right.
And Tegan Knox is back.
But she's going to be on NXT
She's going to be on NXT UK. And on the tapings, she takes on Kaylee Ray.
Okay. So I thought she was going to NXT proper.
I thought she was too. And
they might have had that just for that, why she was over there for that run. And do you know the outcome of that match?
I do, but there's no title change or anything. Okay, it was like a DQ or something.
So that could be just to showcase her over there and then still have her on NXT proper weekly.
But like I thought like if you were going to bring her back, you give like a big heel run to Rhea Ripley, and being she's the one who injured her and at least took credit for the injury. Yeah. But it's like, okay, they're not going that direction. All right, fine. They could eventually.
Have Rhea Ripley strip Shayna, so they'll send Shayna and the Horsewoman up for Ronda's of inevitable return.
Yep.
So you pretty much have the Undisputed Era, but women's version of Four Horsemen of MMA up on the main roster, which would be good for them, for Fox, for SmackDown, right? Mm-hmm. Then you can have Rhea Ripley and Tegan Knox on NXT proper. And you also got Io Shirai there.
Yep, Io.
So Io would be a great one for either, maybe Rhea Ripley and Io go at it, and then Tegan gets in the mix. They got a lot of options there.
Yep,
you also got Bianca Belair down in NXT. Mm-hmm. You got Mia Yim. So they got an all right
there's a ton of women that are super talented.
Bringing Rhea Ripley over to NXT proper, I think, was a good move.
Yeah,
I think
it really was. Because, it was, and as she pointed out, like, yeah, Shayna's beat everybody. She hasn't beat her.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Shayna was out of competition.
Yep.
So, because someone's going to need to beat Shayna soon, because it's getting stale now.
Yeah.
It's lost its luster.
Yep.
So having Rhea be the one, I think, to do that is going to be number one okay with me. So then we got we didn't even talk about it. It was a 45-minute, just brutal, amazing, just awesome fight forever chance. Just British crowd was hot. Fire, Tyler Bates, Volta in a UK championship match. Volta retains because he's Volta. I mean, that's just what he does. But he looked great doing it. And Tyler Bate, maybe it's him versus Dunn on that Brooklyn takeover is still, I think, my favorite Tyler Bate match.
Okay. Oh, the Chicago one.
Chicago. Oh, yeah. Him and Dunn is Chicago.
Yeah, for the UK title.
Yeah,
match.
I think might be my favorite match of theirs, of both of those people at this present moment. But this is my second now.
Okay,
and it almost was my first. But yeah, that him and Walter, it may have went a little too long.
Yeah, that was my only complaint about it. It was like, okay, this is good. Why is it not over yet?
If it would have went slightly less, but having him kick out at like 1 so late in that match, right before it ended, and then Walter just smoking him with that lariat, and then just finishing it off. The end came abruptly, and after that length, I think why it goes 2 for me.
Yeah,
where it could have been maybe a little bit shorter and a more not definitive ending, but a more interesting ending, and it may have taken the best Tyler Bate match I've ever seen. Definitely the best Walter match I've ever seen.
Yeah,
for me, because I haven't seen a lot of Walter in progress, and I don't, like I said, I got very limited time there, so I got to watch what I can watch. And for me, for my dollar, that was the best Walter match. Because I thought his match on the last takeover was good when he beat Dunn.
Yep,
that was a really good match. But I think this one was a little bit better.
Yeah, well, and I kind of joked with my roommate the fact that so Walter and Tyler Bate actually met. It was like last September at the Progress Wembley Arena show.
Okay,
but the problem was they went past curfew.
Oh,
and like the show was going long, so a lot of people had to leave like halfway through that match to get to their public transit and their trains and everything.
Okay.
So there's, like 5,000 people there, but there were probably at the end of that match about 4. So like there are a ton of people who had, so much so that, and it might still be online for free. Progress actually is like, hey, as a make good, we edited this quick and
here you go.
Here's the free match. Like, hey, thank you for understanding.
Right.
And that match was really good, but it was clear, basically a year later.
The circumstances had hurt it. Yeah.
But it was like a year later or in a year smarter, they're like, we're making sure people see this
plus
match.
The WWE
and
production,
it's on WWE production.
On the network.
Yeah, so it's like I think both of them were like, we want to over-deliver her to prove that, because that match got a fair bit of hype.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, no, we want to prove that like, hey, we're responsible for that Wembley Arena kind of thing. So
no, and they put on a heck of a show. When you realize 2 hours had gone by and the main event hadn't started, or the main event was just about to start and only 2 hours had gone by, you were like, oof. This is going to be a lengthy match.
Yep.
I think 45 minutes might have been just a little too long. Maybe 5-10 minutes even sooner. And you could have strengthened the overall match for me slightly.
Yeah.
So for me, All Out was still the best of the 3 events.
Yep.
But I would say for me, Cardiff comes 2 over New Japan.
Okay.
That's only because number one, I haven't watched all of New Japan, but also because even from what I've heard, I think because the Walter Tyler Bate match for me is still in my top 3 of the weekend.
Okay.
Like for me, my top 3 of the weekend are Lucha Bros, Cody and Sean Spears, and the Tyler Bate Walter match.
Okay.
And honestly, I think for me, the Lucha Bros is probably my number 1, followed by Walter and Tyler Bate, and then I'd probably go Cody and Sean Spears. That's my top 3 of the whole weekend. Like if you're gonna go watch 3 matches from the weekend, I'd say watch those 3 matches.
Okay.
4 would probably be the
I think
AEW World Championship match.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
For me.
My top 3. I really loved the UK tag match.
The triple threat?
Yeah, the triple threat.
That's 5.
The triple threat, Okada and Suzuki. Because like I said, you haven't seen it yet.
Nope.
And then probably the ladder match.
Yeah, that ladder match is that's something to watch, something to behold. I'm glad I can watch the replay whenever, because that's the nice thing about Bleacher Report is if you do buy the event, and this is the one thing I will say that's awesome, is you can just watch it again whenever you want.
Yep.
Right? So like I can go back and watch All Out right now if I wanted to. Like right when we get done doing this. I'm going to the gym, but I could if I wanted to. So other stuff that's kind of happened. I don't know if we want to go back to like SummerSlam and stuff like that.
Well, actually, kind of segueing since the last thing we talked about was NXT UK. So to me, it kind of felt like it was a possible write-off for Tyler Bate.
Oh, definitely.
Do you think he's gonna show him maybe the whole crew?
British Strong Style.
All of British Strong Style.
Yes.
You think they're going to NXT?
Yes, that's what. Yes, 100%. 100%. Dunn's already moved over there.
Yeah, Dunn's already moved
transitioned
over there.
I think the Walter the Walter match was the send off for Tyler. Go out on your back, right? He'll go stateside. They have to fill 2 hours live now.
That's what I was thinking.
NXT versus AEW. You got Undisputed Era there. You got history with the British Strong Style that you could already tie in, so you could put together packages to build stories right from the get, right?
Yep.
You could build them as a faction. You already have the Undisputed Era as a faction. You need kind of a secondary faction.
Yep.
And I think those 3, and you have to add one more person to the mix, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll get a rotating 4th kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I could see like. Because I
can see them tagging with like a Riddle or a or
and actually Riddle would be a good one because Riddle has a lot of history in the UK.
Okay.
So actually, because you've got to remember the next takeover is War Games.
War Games, yeah. So that could easily be British Strong Style versus Undisputed Era, especially if we're trying to get away from no more Gargano Cole matches.
Nope.
The last one was enough for me. I can't. My heart can't take anymore. No, I just can't take Adam Cole losing. Gargano needs a new feud. Cole and them starting a faction feud going into War Games is perfect.
Yep.
And I would like them to move away from Street Profits because Street Profits can do a lot of other things.
Yeah, I think Street Profits are possibly going to the main roster at this point.
Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong are going to have a match. Do they put all the gold? Is it just gold everywhere? Undisputed Gold Era.
Maybe, and like it might only be temporary, but
it might be just to start off with like they're the champ. They held all the belts. They're the big dogs. This is their show pretty much. Because honestly, I think it is. I think you build the show around Undisputed Era. If you're smart, the NXT beginning shows are built. The first like major story is Undisputed Era, and I would say versus British Strong Style, and then you have to establish a new solid number 1 contender for Adam Cole's championship belt. That's not Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, which like that could be
Riddle would be great.
Yeah, Riddle.
Dunn would be fine.
Yeah, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate.
I'd be cool with. Yeah. Anybody, honestly.
Yeah, and then there's rumors.
Velveteen Dream, I would even be okay with.
Here's the other thing. So because NXT is going to be on the USA Network, and we've got Shayna and the rest of the horsewomen there, do you think, just as a kind of almost maybe a panic move, do you think Ronda shows up October 2nd?
Maybe. They would announce it ahead of time.
Maybe.
Because they start September 18th.
Yeah,
they have like
a
2 or 3 week jump on AEW, which is smart.
Yeah.
Which is smart.
Because then they also have 2 weeks of Raw and SmackDown the nights before hey, look,
they can pump NXT. And that's, I think, what the Street Profits are more going to be for right now, is a crossover team that gives you like the flavor of NXT to draw more eyes to NXT.
Okay.
But they could definitely do something like that. Would they have... No, I don't think they'd have the Horsewomen debut on NXT. What I think they'd have them do is debut on Raw.
Okay.
That Monday night, or even the SmackDown prior to.
Okay.
And then have them come out on... I don't even know if they'd have them come out on the Wednesday night. I mean, they'd show the package. Maybe.
Okay.
They might.
Yeah. Well, I just like, if you get the Twitter buzz of, holy crap, Ronda Rousey's on NXT.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have some main roster. There'll be some surprise people on NXT for sure. I mean, Fandango and Tyler Breeze will be down there, I think, full time. I mean, they've already been in NXT.
Yeah, they're kind of back down there.
Which is good for them.
Yep.
This is gonna be good for certain people. Plus, it's gonna help kind of thin the main roster. Mm-hmm. Like an Ember Moon would almost benefit from go back to NXT, to be honest, where she's at. And Asuka would benefit to go back.
Yeah.
And that's sad to say, but honestly, right now, Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha are killing it.
Yeah.
Those four, and I know we've seen those four fight in different combinations a ton of times. Mm-hmm. I'm not tired of it. I'm looking forward to Sasha versus Becky at Clash of Champions more than I'm looking forward to Braun versus Rollins.
Well, that's not that hard.
It's gonna be Braun, Rollins, and AJ in a triple threat.
Yeah, probably
100%. Because AJ ripped up the Fiend. Yeah. So Fiend challenges whoever wins at Hell in a Cell. Whoever wins Clash of Champion, Fiend. Did you see that Firefly Funhouse where Vince McMahon was the devil puppet and they fed him a dollar bill?
Fed him money.
Holy shit. They must either know Vince is not watching or like things are just getting crazy over there.
To which I love the Vince yelling at the guy, but Vince, look what I did.
Look what I've been making.
Look what I've been making you.
And then it's just like money. Bayley turned heel. How you like that? You think it was shocking. I mean, not shocking, but no one saw it coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming, but it kind of reminds me when like the first attempt to turn her heel was against Sasha and everybody cheered her. Right. And now this time, like, it's still a 50-50 kind of thing.
When it's still connected to Sasha.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, that's still like those two, like the boss and hug connection. Could you see Sasha beating Becky Lynch, Bayley retaining versus Charlotte, them holding both belts and eventually taking the belts from Nikki and Alexa and holding all the belts? All, like, literally just holding the tag champs. I could see that.
And then maybe if you do that, because the first time around, they did say that when they were NXT, or when they were women's tag team champions, that they wanted to defend them on NXT.
You could have them show up, and then if you want to pull out the 4 horsewomen, though, but that wouldn't work because with Sasha and Bayley being heels, if you pull out the 4 horsewomen to beat them up, are they the faces? Are the horsewomen the faces? Bayley and Sasha switch back?
It would have to be like
Charlotte's technically a heel
Candice
too.
LeRae and a tag team partner.
Candice LeRae, not Io because she turned, but like a Kairi Sane.
Yeah, or you could do like Candice and like a returning Dakota Kai, or like something like that.
It's not gonna have the effect it needs.
Oh no, it won't. But that's the problem. Like NXT right now, because Shane has been so dominant, you don't have a really heavy like baby face like women's division.
No, you don't have you don't have a super strong women's division. The future looks good. Yeah, like we were saying with like Rhea Ripley coming over. If they bring over Tegan Knox, the future looks bright.
Yeah, the future looks bright.
Where
but
we
nobody's
stand right now, you know, Bianca Belair didn't separate herself. Mia Yim didn't separate herself. Her and Shayna had the weakest match at TakeOver 25, hands down.
Yeah, it's like your only kind of notable like that would, and it's partially more of an indie crowd, but like your only notable little woman down there is Candice LeRae.
You think it's too early to give the Fiend a title shot at Hell in a Cell?
I don't think so, because like it would be interesting, and I don't think it's gonna be a Hell in a Cell match, but it'll be like Hell in a Cell.
It'll be a Hell in a Cell match.
I don't know, because then I wonder if it's too much, if it's too gimmicky.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of. Yeah. That's exactly, or if they want to put on a classic. Yeah. I mean, I would want Seth Rollins, obviously. Braun Strowman Fiend does nothing for me. Rollins Fiend at least does something for me.
Yeah. It gives Rollins actually something interesting to do, which he hasn't had for a while. Right.
And it gives him like an actual opponent that's not Brock Lesnar. Yeah. That you can actually believe taking the belt off. It's just something about Strowman. I don't see him. He's just not, right at the present moment, he's not going to take that red strap off Seth's shoulder. He's not.
I don't think so. Like he actually, like, I kind of wish they would have given him the U.S. title.
Well, if they would have pulled, they botched 6 months ago when they had him in the position where they could have done something with him. Yeah, they didn't, and now it's gone too long, and now it's not. You have to rebuild it at this point, and it's not where it needs to be. Him and Seth, the tag champs, isn't working for me. Although I am excited for like Shinsuke and Miz. I'm excited for the King of the Ring stuff that's been going on. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, I'm the King of the Ring. I'm actually really interested to see where they're going with this.
Andrade Ricochet final. That's what I want. Give it to me, baby.
Andrade's eliminated.
Wait, he lost to
Gable in a really good match.
Oh, dang it! I thought he won. I thought he beat Gable. Nope. I didn't watch this week's SmackDown.
Yeah. But no, like do it, because
so he busted a lot of brackets. Gable's busting all the brackets.
Gable is killing it. That's fine. It's great.
It'll still be because Ricochet. Oh, Ricochet has to beat.
Yeah. Both, so the finals on Raw are Baron Corbin. It ended up being a triple threat match, because Ricochet and Joe did a double pin. So it's,
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. So it's Ricochet, Joe, and Baron Corbin. Yeah. And then the SmackDown side is Elias versus Chad Gable. Ugh. Which I don't love that Elias beat Ali.
No, why couldn't it have been? I should have been the final on the SmackDown side. Should have been Ali versus Andrade, 110%.
Should have been, and
with
neither
Andrade
of them,
moving on.
Yeah, unbelievable. From what it looks like, because they kind of set it up. Samoa Joe cut a promo against making fun of Chad Gable. So I could actually see a Gable versus Joe final.
King Joe would be fine.
Yeah.
King Chad Gable would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
I don't know if they're ballsy enough to pull that trigger.
I don't either, because that's like, I almost feel like his push is he got to the finals and lost to Joe.
Right.
I mean, ideally at this point, it would be he got to the finals and lost to Ricochet. But
I want Ricochet to be in the finals. Now I'm terrified. Because if Gable, or Elias, Ricochet Elias does not do anything for me.
No.
That match does nothing for me. But so Gable, Ricochet would be fun, but that's scary. Oh, so we never talk about when we were talking AEW, but we have to talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
The AEW championship went missing.
Yeah, it went missing
for 24 hours.
For 24 hours.
It was stolen out of a limousine parked in front of a steakhouse, apparently. Or it was en route because the driver had to drive back to the something to give somebody their luggage back because Chris Jericho took the wrong luggage at the airport.
Oh, that was the story?
So then the driver was driving back to the airport and had the belt in the car, and somehow the belt went missing from the limo between dropping Jericho off at the steakhouse, driving the luggage back to the airport, coming back to the steakhouse to pick up Jericho. Somewhere in that, the belt went missing and was stolen. I heard it was stole by this YouTuber. I don't know if that's true. If you did, props to you. Have fun in jail.
Yeah.
Definitely not worth it. AEW benefited heavily from that.
I kind of wish the title had gone missing for like another day.
Well,
just for all the stupid articles.
For a second, I was like, is it a work?
Yeah, and then you heard that they filed a police report.
A grand larcemy police report. Then I'm like, well, no, because now someone's going to jail if it's a work, so it must be a shoot. But they turned it into a work because then Jericho put up this awesome video talking about how he scared the people into giving it to him or giving it back to the police because he's such a presence and like he's so awesome. Oh my God. The promo videos Jericho's been cutting since winning the championship. You're right. That's why you put the belt on him.
Yep.
Hangman Page can't cut those type of videos and doesn't have the impact even if he were to cut them, right?
Yeah. Well, like Hangman is really good. Like this week's Being the Elite was like backstage at All In.
Yeah.
He's really good at like fun, like being serious in his matches, but then fun little comedy gags. Like he was introducing Kip Sabian to the horses, and he's like, "This is Hunter Horse Helmsley."
Wow, that's see, but that's the thing though. Is like, but Hangman Page can be funny and could do that stuff, but he doesn't have the recognition or the pull that's going to draw in someone to watch a Chris Jericho video because hey, that's Chris Jericho. What's he doing?
Yeah.
But if someone's like, who's that long haired dude who's on a horse?
The fact that I think even right now on Twitter, a little bit of the bubbly is trending on Twitter.
Yeah, it's been trending for like a day and a half.
Because people keep posting weird little stupid videos of remixing songs with a little bit of the bubbly.
Well, then they had the one with him yelling at the librarians. That was super funny too. I don't remember what he says to the librarians. He's like, "Hey, librarians." And then he's like, I don't remember what he said.
Yeah, it was just you shush me.
Yeah, shush me. Or something, and then like said some derogatory
like, stupid
comments.
Idiot. And I kept vlogging. Yeah, because that was all in like that whole thing
walkout.
Is like his post-match walkout.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah. Making fun of Brian Pillman Jr.'s hair because why not?
But then to lose the title, but then turn it into like your own benefit, and then to get the title back. I don't know how they did that, but well, they call them like forensics teams. Like, no, 100%. Like, I was watching some news videos on it, and like, as soon as it went missing, they called the grand larceny report got filed. They called in a forensic team.
Okay,
they must have had some video footage or something from one of the parking lots because that thing was probably, think about it, in that area where they were. That car was probably on film, almost let's say 80% of the time driving in the areas it was. So they pull up footage. They find who did it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They got it back. I'm surprised it came back.
I'm surprised it came. Yeah.
But that was hot. I mean, you couldn't turn around and sell it on the internet. You couldn't turn around and like melt it down. It probably doesn't even have that much. I don't know how much it's worth.
Yeah.
But I would assume it's not as much as people think. It's not worth like $1 million belt.
No, it's like
60 grand maybe.
Yeah, like knowing about how much belts can even
knowing
be made
some of the
for,
behind
like,
the scenes
like,
stuff. Yeah.
Like most likely, like 20 to 40, grand, like probably, realistically. Maybe a little more just because, like, I don't know, like
put diamonds in it or something.
Well, like who made it too? True. Like that was kind of because like that's part of the like cachet on like some of the WWE belts it's actually the guys from like Orange County Choppers.
Yeah.
That like made it. So it's like, okay, there you kind of bump up the price a little bit too, because it's like, hey, look, here's this like guys.
Well, they just have like diamonds and rubies where the red are and stuff like that, like the legit belt, like the legit belt, which I don't even think they let them take anymore.
No, I think that stays in the production. They have one of the high end
replicas. They just hand them for like that they want to carry it around.
Yeah, I want to say if I remember right, they have 2 copies of each belt. One's the like super pristine one for TVs and pay-per-views, and then the one the talent get to keep
stuff like that.
are is like not as detailed. Like still pretty good.
It's a very, very high end replica.
Yep.
Yeah. The diamonds aren't diamonds. They're like, fake diamonds.
Yeah.
It's not real rubies.
Yep.
So it's like
it's like that's the house show belt.
Yeah.
And I think they do that with all of their titles now. Because they want everything to look super clean for TV.
Well, especially with high def everything and 4K now, and people notice every little detail of everything. It's crazy out there. It really is. It really is. So we got Clash Champions right around the corner. We got All Out starting right around the corner. NXT starting on actual TV for 2 hours a week live up against
right after
AEW.
And it's right after Clash of Champions too.
Yeah, right after Clash.
It's here's your WWE production schedule. Well, clearly their crew needs some time off. It's literally going to be Sunday Clash of Champions, Monday a Raw, Tuesday SmackDown, Wednesday NXT.
Because SmackDown won't have moved to Friday.
SmackDown won't have moved yet, and it's still on USA.
Well,
until
I don't
the
know if
end
they're
of
still
September.
taping on Tuesdays, or no, it's still called SmackDown Live, so it would have to be live on Friday nights.
Yeah, it's live Friday nights. So they're like, I think the production team and so NXT is going to have a different production team.
Yeah, I was
I think
say they have to have multiple teams running,
because I think the main production team is now, and the main like house show loops is going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Because you still have live, you still have live video, you still have live stuff.
Yep. So it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Talent probably get Tuesday, Wednesday off. Maybe a house show Thursday.
And then Friday SmackDown, Saturday Sunday house shows, Monday house show or pay-per-view, and then NXT just runs with its own crew.
Yep.
And when I heard Vince isn't going to have much, like he's not interfering over there.
Yeah, he doesn't do much with NXT.
Hunter's going to run NXT just like it's been run.
Yep.
Like they came out and said that earlier this week. Is he doesn't. Unless the ratings are bad or he feels like he needs to step in, he's not going to. But hey, the Cardiff crew got his attention because they were chanting are you watching or something? And then I was watching Twitter because I'm always keeping an eye on Twitter during wrestling events, and Vince was like, "Yes, I am Cardiff. I hear you," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, all right, dang!"
Nice.
It was right around the triple threat tag match, so I'm pretty sure
that's what they were chanting.
I'm pretty sure Vince got to see that because that was crazy.
Yeah,
that was such a great match.
Well, and
the outcome was such a positive.
And again, like that's another act that, grizzled young vets. Like, how long do they stay in NXT UK?
Not long.
Like,
not long.
I think especially with the promo ability, with the match ability.
Vince finally saw him for the first time.
Yeah.
So he saw him and said, "Who are these guys?
Yeah.
Get them over here." When they still can't. Let's do something with the Viking Raiders.
Yes.
Let's have them stop beating jobbers. And instead of teams like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, no offense to either one of those guys, but instead of them going up against Rollins and Strowman, I would love to see Viking Raiders. Yeah. And because Viking Raiders are a threat. I look at that Rollins, Strowman, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler match, and I'm like, I just have to get through this for the main event tie-in piece.
Yeah.
And I would much rather have the Viking Raiders win and be the new champs. And then can we start to build a tag division?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like it feels like they were concentrating on it for a little bit, and then they just, it's like, we don't care.
No, they don't.
Okay, I mean, you've got the Revival, you've got all these really
Usos,
good tag teams,
New Day, Heavy Machinery, the Club, the OC or whatever. I like those new OC shirts. They sold out so fast. I almost bought them. They were doing buy one get one for $1 shirts right around SummerSlam, and this is the WWE shop exclusive for for the era. Love this shirt. You got your Jimmy Havoc
Death tarot card.
Of course, he's got an indie. I got, WWE Shop exclusive. But I also got the Dream Over, the purple shirt.
Okay.
The homage to Macho Man shirt, but the Dream for $1 when I bought this shirt. So I was like, yes. And the Dream shirt is choice. I love that shirt. I honestly, that shirt, I might like it better than this shirt, but I had to rep Undisputed because they just won the tag team champs again. Yeah. And they're about to win the North American. I could see them having Roderick Strong win the North American with cheatsy doodles from, interference from the rest of the era. Put all the belts on them, freeze up Dream to go Cole and do Dream Cole.
Okay.
And then I think you leave North American title, Roderick Strong and Riddle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, if we get another Roderick Strong Matt Riddle match, I'm for it. Yep.
I think that's the way you go there, and then you can either go Street Profits versus Undisputed Era, or you could go. God, I'm trying to even think what other tag teams they have running right now. You can't go Forgotten Sons because they're kind of heel team. I guess you'd have to go Street Profits.
Yeah, because you've got Street Profits. Like think back to Takeover 25. Like you had Street Profits, Lorcan and Birch, Forgotten Sons, and then Undisputed Era. And yeah, it's like NXT needs to kind of start rebuilding their tag division. And I know they have been on house shows. Like they've been kind of throwing people together and kind of seeing what works.
Well, Mustache Mountain Mountain
if
coming
Mustache
over.
Mountain comes over, that would be good.
There you go. Then you could have Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed Era, Bates, and I think because Mustache Mountain's already been NXT champion, tag champs. I think that would be another rivalry I'd like to see restarted then.
Yes.
If we're going to have the British Strong style. Because then you could, honestly, or you could do that. If you could, Velveteen Dream could go off and do Velveteen Dream things, or main roster, because he's destined for that.
Yeah.
And you could have, Dunn versus Cole, let's say, for the NXT championship. You could have Bro and Roderick Strong still for the North American, and then Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed Era, something like that. So, so you're not excited for Destruction for New Japan?
I just really don't want Naito to lose to Jay White, but I feel like he's going to.
When Naito and it was Naito and Sonata? Yeah, it was Naito and Sonata versus Jay White and
Chase,
and bootleg Sami Zayn, Chase Owens. At me, I don't even care. When they won, I was like, oh, they're gonna have Jay White win that title. But then I think it's gonna end up. I think they're gonna let Naito Ibushi cool, and then they're gonna reignite Naito Ibushi for the big belt once Ibushi takes it off Okada.
Okay.
Because I could see Ibushi taking it off Okada in
Kenta.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, like Kenta and Ibushi is one of the Destruction matches because Kenta beat Ibushi during the G1. So he's getting his briefcase challenge.
Okay.
Which is going to be weird. It's like, hey, he just won the Never title, and then he's going to lose something.
Yeah, he'll definitely lose. God.
But yeah, I don't have because Destruction I don't think is for another couple weeks. So
no, they're fast and furious. New Japan does not slow down.
No.
The one thing I've learned about New Japan, I can't even watch backlog stuff because I can't even get caught up.
Yeah.
I will finish G1 before Wrestle Kingdom.
That's good.
In January or February, whenever the 2 days.
It's January 4th and 5th.
Is it January? Yeah. Do you think it'll be Okada and Ibushi in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom?
Yes.
Or do you think they'll switch it up before then?
I think so. The rumor that is out there now is Ibushi said when he did his little contract signing that, like, yes, I'm going to go for the IWGP championship, but we have 2 nights. If I win, then the second night I also want to go for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, so they could do a Bushi Naito night 2 for the Intercontinental, and they could do a because maybe Naito wins it back from Jay White. So Jay White wins the Intercontinental until night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom. Naito wins it back at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Ibushi conquers the Rainmaker.
And then you get Ibushi and
Naito.
Or you get
end night 2
Yeah.
for both belts.
Yep.
And Naito wins because Naito's the best.
Or you finally get the one-on-one again, Naito versus Okada.
El Tranquilo.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, it's like there's so many ways you could go with that. And that's not even having, Moxley's gonna come back eventually.
Yeah, well,
Jericho wants to go back eventually.
You think either one of them will be at Wrestle Kingdom?
I don't know, because I mean it is the weekend. AEW most likely knows that would not be a smart idea to.
Yeah, it really depends on.
They wouldn't do a pay-per-view.
Well, they have a November pay-per-view. So if they hold off,
I think you hold off until February or March.
And then you're talking about Double or Nothing too. So then you have fight. So then you only have 3. You have they're going to squeeze a 4th one in there, because then you have All Out, Double or Nothing, Full Gear. I bet they try to squeeze one more. They want to probably squeeze one more pay-per-view in.
My thing is, you also have to remember what Tony Khan's other job is.
End of January.
But he's probably got high hopes and is hoping that the
get
Jags would be in the playoff contention
That's
and
true.
all that stuff.
Jaguars. I forgot because he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. Part owner. His dad
does. Yes. So he's like one of the like logistics managers or something. Man,
I wish I had them problems.
Well, he's got like.
I don't know if I can worry about my $300 million wrestling company when I have my $1 billion sports franchise for the NFL to worry about. Like, talk about first world problems. Yeah. Seriously.
But yeah, like that's why I think like he's gonna like, not that his attentions will be divided, but I think he's very much going. No pun intended. Like he's going all in, like, on all this stuff. No,
I get you.
And I don't think he wants to. Hey, we could possibly be in the NFL playoffs. We've got a show coming up.
So, real quick before we wrap up here, for the summer, for the whole summer, what was the best event of the summer? That's a lot. I know that's a lot to think about. Best event of the summer, was it All Out?
Actually, you know what? I might actually go back to, even though Dominion was right after it, I loved the Best of Super Juniors final.
Best of Super Juniors final was
because like that was like Moxley versus Juice.
Yep.
Like
Shingo and Ospreay.
Put on
classic.
It was
instant
like
classic.
Like and like so much other stuff delivered like way more than I thought it would. Yeah. That it was like, oh man, this show's like top to bottom, like was awesome.
It really was. It really was.
And then it's like you had Dominion like 3 days later.
That hurt.
Which kind of hurt Dominion. But then I loved the fact that you also, because did you listen to the commentary for Royal Quest and like the fact
what's wrong with that audio?
It's not New Japan's normal production.
Yeah, you can tell that was like Rev Pro's production crew because that audio was. Yeah. It's like recording better audio right now than they had.
But commentary kept pointing out like, oh man, the fans are really getting behind Shota Umino. It's like that's because they love him now, thanks to Moxley.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they big up that one a lot. So yours is Best of Super Junior finals.
Yeah,
huh?
I think so. Yeah. Because it's either that or because like I didn't love Gargano versus Cole from Takeover
the 2 out of 3 falls or the 2 out of 3 falls,
the SummerSlam one.
Oh, okay. Oh, the 25 the 2 out of 3 falls where they ended with the cage with all the weapons.
Yeah, that was the SummerSlam one. 25 was
just happened.
No, 25 was the 4-way one. SummerSlam was New York. Or no, Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
But did they do a
Yeah,
so was that
the
Gargano Cole
cage.
2?
Yeah, the 2 out of 3 falls match with the cage.
With the cage at the end.
Yeah.
That was 25.
No, that was at Toronto.
No, that just happened at 25. I'm almost positive that was NXT TakeOver 25.
No, 25 was the one that was like 2 weeks or like in June.
Okay. But that wasn't that Cole.
That was also 3? Cole Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Right, but it was okay, whatever. Yeah. I'm thinking
but like that one also had Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, the singles match or the single tag match between Street Profits and Undisputed Era. The Street Profits won. It didn't have the opener of, because 25 had Riddle versus Cole.
No, 25 is Gargano Cole.
Yeah.
NXT Championship.
That was just the normal one.
Oh.
The one fall match.
25 happened before Toronto?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. See, I like the Toronto one.
I like the Toronto one. It's
the
just
cage match was. I thought the cage part at the end was.
I
nice.
fell asleep.
Oh, so you're like me with the end of. With the end of All Out.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was wrong. You're right.
Takeover
was 25 was before. So much wrestling.
Yeah. Well, and that was the problem. Like
so much wrestling.
Because Takeover 25 was like just at like Stanford.
Yeah.
Like, so that was why, like, that one, like, it had good matches on it, but.
Because they didn't do it with, they didn't pair it with.
Yeah, it was
Money
just
in the
itself.
Bank, right?
Oh, yeah, it was Money in the Bank, yeah.
And then
so
it came
a couple,
it came a couple weeks after.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. It's been so long since we've done one of these. I forget how many shows.
So many shows this summer.
SummerSlam was good, but it was mostly like The Fiend that I liked. And there was just, it's too long. It was too much, too many matches. I think you're right. I think the Best of the Super Juniors final is my favorite event of the summer. Because that was the only event I remember watching twice.
Yeah, like I said, and that's the thing. Like there were better. Well, I was gonna say there's better matches, but
no, because Shingo Takagi and Will Ospreay was still, I think, the best match
amazing.
of the summer.
But like there's other shows that have maybe 2 matches that are almost at that level. Like you said, like you loved like the triple threat tag match and Dunn and Walter, or Bate and Walter. But like the rest of the card was kind of
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's always those weak moments.
Yeah.
When in Best of Super Juniors, because some of those tag matches in the beginning with some of the other Super Juniors
they over delivered. They all like that was the thing. Like all those like over delivered, and it's like, oh, that was really cool.
There was almost not a weak match on that card that I can remember from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And maybe being that it was so close to Dominion too, because Dominion had the Kota Ibushi Naito, like the one where like it was like almost uncomfortable to watch at times. Yeah. Man, thinking back now. Yeah, because I mean, and like I said, I would pay for another AEW pay-per-view, but I wouldn't pay super regularly for, at least on that level.
Yeah.
For what I saw, because like I said, it wasn't better than a Best of the Super Juniors. It wasn't, I was going to say WrestleMania, but WrestleMania was just way too long.
Yeah, WrestleMania was too long.
Like Royal Rumble, though. Like a top end, WWE show, because there wasn't one in the summertime that I said was gonna be underwhelming but overperform. Stomping Grounds.
Yeah, Stomping Grounds.
And that ended up turning out, but it wasn't top show of the summer. But I think you're right. I think the Super Juniors in New Japan took the summer with the best show.
Well, yeah, and like I only really remember it too just because like that might be my leader for like actual like show of the year.
Still.
Or kind of, yeah.
And there's a lot of year left. Not that much though. I mean, we're coming into fall. We're almost 3/4 through this thing.
Yep.
So all right, well, let's wrap this up because we've already been going a long time. I'm Thor. Basement Baron's the channel. Wrestling in the Basement is the show. Kyle, KnockedOut Entertainment. Find him everywhere. Dude's an amazing photographer. You're on all over the place.
Yep, all over the place. Knocked Out Films on Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. So
check them out. Check us out. Till the next time. Like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Deuces.